If you spend any time trading, you'll probably notice something. Finding setups usually isn't the hard part. The hard part is deciding which setups are actually worth taking, because every trade has a cost, not just the money you lose. A bad trade also costs time, focus, and confidence. And that's something a lot of traders learn the hard way. One low quality trade can affect how you approach the next opportunity. You hesitate when you should act, or you force a trade because you are trying to make back what you just lost. That's why, over the years, I started looking at trading differently. I don't think success comes from finding more setups. I think it comes from becoming more selective. And that's exactly what this Fibonacci strategy is designed to help with. Most traders use Fibonacci trying to predict whether price might reverse. This strategy takes a different approach. Instead of asking where price might turn, we're asking a much more practical question. Has the market shown enough evidence to justify risking capital? Because before every trade, you're making a decision, not just a charting decision, a business decision. You're deciding whether this opportunity deserves money from your account. And that's why confirmation matters. The best trades aren't always the earliest trades. A lot of time, they're the trades whether the market has already started proving your idea right before you get involved. Before we get into the strategy itself, we need to understand one simple concept: trend structure. When you look at an uptrend, price doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in waves. You'll see a low, then a high, then a higher low, then a higher high, and the process repeats. Inside every trend, there are two different types of moves. The first one is impulse wave. That's the move that pushes the trend forward. It's where momentum is strongest. The second is the correction wave. That's the pullback, the temporary move against the trend. And understanding why those corrections happen is important. A correction doesn't automatically mean the trend is ending. Most of the time, it's simply the market taking a breather after a strong move. Some traders are taking profits. Some traders are trying to fake the trend, and others are waiting for a better price before joining it. That's why strong trends rarely move in a straight line. They move in stages: push, pause, push again. The challenge is that during a correction, it can be difficult to tell whether you're looking at a temporary pause or a beginning of a full reversal. And that's exactly where many traders get trapped. They assume every correction is reversal, or they assume every trend will continue forever. In reality, neither assumptions helps much. What we need is evidence. And that's what this strategy is trying to find. When traders get into trouble, it's often because they start trading inside corrections and treating them like impulse moves. They're risking money before the market has actually shown who's in control. That's why understanding the difference between those two wave types is so important. The simple concept applies in downtrend. Price forms lower highs and lower lows. Impulse waves push the market lower. Correction waves temporarily move against the trend. And throughout this strategy, we're going to focus heavily on the correction wave because that's where we can start evaluating whether momentum is returning to the trend. Now let's move over to TradingView. This is the Fibonacci retracement tool. If you're new to Fibonacci, don't worry. For this strategy, we only need 3 levels: 0.236, 0.618, and 1.618. The 0.618 level is commonly known as the golden ratio. It's the most important level in this setup. Whenever we draw a Fibonacci retracement, we need 2 points: a starting point and an ending point. The tool measures the distance between those points and calculates the Fibonacci levels. Simple. Now here's where this strategy differs from what most traders do. Most traders draw Fibonacci on the impulse wave, the move that's obvious, the move everyone notices. We're not doing that. We're drawing Fibonacci on the correction wave. And that's because we're not trying to predict where price will go. We're trying to evaluate whether the next move deserves risk. Think about what we're really measuring here. A correction wave is essentially a test. It's the market testing whether the opposite side has enough strength to take control. If buyers are in control during an uptrend, eventually sellers will try to push price lower. The correction wave is that attempt. But if buyers are still stronger overall, the correction eventually loses momentum and the trend resumes. That's why correction waves are so important. Let's use the uptrend example. This move higher is the impulse wave. This pullback is the correction wave. So, we draw Fibonacci from the beginning of the correction to the end of the correction. Those becomes our anchor points. Now here's the key idea. If buyers are truly stepping back into the market, the next bullish wave shouldn't struggle to overcome the previous correction. It should show a strength. It should show commitment. It should show momentum. And one way we measure that is through the 61.8% level. If price can break above the 61.8% level of the correction wave, buyers are dominating enough strength to suggest the trend may continue. The breakout becomes the entry. The stop loss is placed slightly below the 23.6% level. And the target is projected to the 1.618 Fibonacci extensions. Now we flip everything around and look at a downtrend. The logic stays exactly the same. We're still measuring the correction wave. We're still waiting for evidence. We're still asking the market to prove itself. The only thing that changes is direction. We identify the correction wave. Draw Fibonacci from the beginning of the correction to the end of it. Wait for price to break below the 61.8% level of the Fibonacci. Place the stop loss slightly above the 23.6% level and target the 1.618 extension. Same process, same reasoning, momentum first, risk second. Now at this point, you might be wondering how we constantly identify the trend and determine which wave is actually the correction. Because if we get that wrong, we can end up risking capital in low quality areas of the chart. This is where I use a tool called BIS Cloud LMA. Inside the settings, I'm using two moving averages, the 200 SMA and the 300 SMA. Together, they create a cloud. I don't use the cloud for entries. I don't use it for signals. I use it for a direction filter. If price is constantly trading above the cloud, I consider the market in an uptrend. And if price is constantly trading below the cloud, I consider the market to be in a downtrend. That's it. Let's look at a real example. This is gold on the 15-minute time frame. The first thing I notice is that the price is trading below the moving average cloud. That immediately gives me a bearish bias. Right away, I'm ignoring buy setups. We get a move lower. That's the impulse wave. Then price starts pushing back toward the cloud. That's the correction wave. Since we're measuring the correction, I draw the Fibonacci from the bottom of correction wave to the top of the correction wave. Now watch what happens next. Notice something interesting here. The correction moved back toward the cloud, but it wasn't able to completely change the overall structure of the market. This is something you see repeatedly in strong trends. The correction creates temporary optimism for one side of the market, but once momentum returns, the dominant trend begins reasserting itself. That's exactly what we're waiting for to see. Price starts moving lower again. Eventually, it breaks below the 61.8% of the Fibonacci level. That break becomes the sell entry. The stop loss is placed slightly above the 23.6% of the Fibonacci, and the target is projected to the 1.618 extension. As the setup develops, price continues lower and eventually reaches the target area. Let's look at another gold example. Again, price is trading below the cloud. Again, we identify a correction wave moving back toward the moving averages. Again, we draw Fibonacci from the beginning of the correction to the end of the correction, and then we wait. Waiting may sound boring, but it's actually where most of the edge comes from. Eventually, price breaks below the golden zone that triggered the sell entry. The stop loss goes above the 23.6% of the Fibonacci level, and the target is projected to the 1.618% of the Fibonacci extension, and price follows through in the direction of the trend. Now let's switch over to a buy example. This is JPY/USD on the 1 hour time frame. Here price is trading above the cloud, and this is another characteristic of a strong trend. Correction occurs, so we're only looking for buy opportunities. We get an impulse move higher, then a correction wave forms. Just like before, we draw Fibonacci from the beginning of that correction to the end of it. Now watch the next move. Price starts pushing higher, eventually it breaks above the golden zone of the Fibonacci. That breakout becomes the buy entry. The stop loss is placed slightly below the 23.6% of the Fibonacci, and the target is projected at the 1.618 extension. Again, we're letting the market demonstrate the strength before committing capital. And as the setup develops, price continues higher toward the target.